Good afternoon and welcome to an episode of Travelspark by TTG. As its name suggests, Travelspark by TTG is a program that aims to spark off travel and events desire and show you how you and your clients, business partners, and target audience can return to travel and events in this new era. Today's Travelspark is all about Indonesia, a country that has been paving the way for business events recovery as the world awakens from the COVID-19 slumber. In the next hour, some of Indonesia's most influential business events industry leaders will spill details on how the country is reviving its MICE industry and the many opportunities available to organizers to deliver an exciting and successful business event. We will begin our session with an opening presentation by Rizki Handayani, Deputy Minister for Tourism, Product and Events, Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy of the Republic of Indonesia. Over to you, Ibu Kiki.
Good afternoon. Firstly, I would like to express my gratitude to TTG that has given us the opportunity to hold this webinar Travelspark by TTG and to reconnect with my stakeholders, especially those in ASEAN countries. I also would like to extend my thanks to all the speakers who will share their thoughts and important information in today's webinar, which I believe this will be very beneficial for our audiences when planning to hold international MICE or business events in Indonesia. As we all aware that this has been a challenging time for all of us, all sectors are devastated by COVID-19 pandemic. According to WTTC, tourism sectors, in which included MICE sectors, are hit hardest by this pandemic, with the prediction of 30 million jobs lost in travel and tourism industries. It can even be said that the sector is the most affected sector with the highest risk of contagious, potentially the most slumped, and predicted the very last of recovery. However, we have to stay positive, keep moving forwards, and believe that all tourism activities and MICE in our region can gradually recover. In this occasion, I want to share that initiative which has been implemented by the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy in responding to this pandemic situation, such as now we have setting up the MICE development strategy drafting for 2021-2024. We give the direct support to the effective MICE labor. We're doing the online training based on MICE profession competency. We're making the guidelines of cleanliness, health, safety, and environmental sustainability or CHSE on MICE activities. We also support international MICE bidding in Indonesia, and we're doing the MICE promotional activities and supporting MICE events started in domestic and regional and then global. We also prepared a digital platform, we call it mice.id, to facilitate the Indonesian MICE players in collaborating, coordinating, and integrating data related to MICE. Despite the fact that COVID-19 has caused many negative impacts, we are optimistic that this pandemic has encouraged us to innovate. We have proven that hybrid events could become a common practice nowadays. Furthermore, with this new scheme of meeting, it is possible to hold a shorter duration of face-to-face meeting, which is more compact and brief into making decisions. Hence, more activities related to knowledge transfers among the audience could be done in the destinations. If we can work hand in hand and strengthen our collaborations, we believe our region could become the world-class MICE destination. Thank you and have a fruitful discussion.
Now allow me to introduce our speakers. We've got Hosea Andreas Runkat, Vice Chairman for Venue, the Indonesia Convention and Exhibition Bureau, Ratnaning, Vice President, Pekto Convex Nayagatama, and Ida Bagus Agung Prata Andayana, Executive Director of the Bali Tourism Promotion Board. I have a bit of a disturbance in the background. Okay, I think that's gone now. So sorry about that. Let me introduce the speakers again because of the disruption, yeah. We have Hosea Andreas Runkat, Vice Chairman for Venue, the Indonesian Convention and Exhibition Bureau. We've got Ratnaning, Vice President, Pekto Convex Nagatama. And then we've got Ida Bagus Agung Pata Andayana, Executive Director for Bali Tourism Promotion Board. Thank you for joining us, everyone.
With pleasure.
Okay.
Pleasure.
Okay. Let's begin with a question for Pak Agus Agung. Bali had hopes of reopening for foreign arrivals in the third quarter of this year, but that had to be put on hold because of COVID-19 cases. That must be really difficult for Bali's tourism and MICE players because the island has been one of the stronger and more popular destinations for business events and meetings. So how are Bali industry stakeholders preparing for a return in business today?
Thank you, Karen. COVID-19 pandemic is definitely a huge challenge, yeah? Not only for Bali, but also global tourism. We might come with a prediction on when tourism will start to recover and forecast on what may be the achievable figure to set most pandemic. But then the most critical circumstance now is to the best preparation for the industry in Bali. Associated with the preparation, the engaged tourism stakeholders, we have finalized the step of, as Ibu Kiki mentioned, that's a GSA protocol that become mandatory for tourism component to implement. The main focus of the enforcement is the safety of tourists and local community here in Bali. GSA protocol is implemented from E to Z, start from the arrival of the tourists in Bali, accommodation, restaurant, attraction, and transportation. Those pillars are adopting the protocols. Associated with the tourism business, learning what may be the fastest possibility for the business recovery once industry back to normal is MICE focus on campaign. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We agree that MICE contributes significant numbers, movement as well as revenue in the industry. Therefore, MICE will be the focus of sales soon next year, whilst our marketing board with the MICE organization have already started the campaign through our communication channel. As the situation is vulnerable, uncertain, complex with lots of ambiguity, promotion board and stakeholders, government, tourism community, accommodation, Indonesian promotion offices support from the state of the pandemic, yeah, have started structured communication to tourists on the islands, expat as well as tourism components. This aims at giving clarity on the situation, minimize fear, and giving hope that will strengthen the community, including the tourism practitioners. Communication is channeled through social media, electronic mails, WhatsApp group amongst tourism practitioners, as well as a regular webinars that we have that can capture up to 500 participants, something like that. This aimed at creating the same understanding on the pandemic and bridging them with the structured process of preparation toward recovery. We cannot wait for the tourism rebound here, but it takes a serious commitment in the preparation of tourism post-pandemic. But definitely not to forget that we have moral responsibility for the safety of tourism visiting. In Bali, we also make the ownership of the safety of the local community.
Thank you, Park. For the benefit of some of our audience who are not quite familiar with this part of Asia or of Indonesia and Bali, can you give us a very quick update on, what sort of events are allowed at this point in Bali?
For the next year, you mean?
Yeah.
For 2021, looks like better compared to 2020, yeah?
No. What I mean is, are business events allowed in Bali at this moment? Is there a capacity limit, or nothing is allowed at this point yet?
Yeah, in Bali, in Bali, some of events, something like we still like normal, but we minimize the crowd, yeah.
Okay.
Almost a quarter of the normal capacity.
I see. Okay, yeah. That's good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. For Park Andre and Ibu Rati, many face-to-face events have given way to online and hybrid events, and venues are especially vulnerable now. So what are venues in Indonesia doing to remain relevant and competitive going forward? Perhaps Ibu Rati can start first.
Okay, thank you, Karen. I guess actually Andre is the one who's more capable to answer this. But since you asked me first, I would say to second Pa Agung, the word of CHSA protocol, that's the most important one. And it's already being implemented by all the venues. The government already launched this protocol back in September. And then all venues already put this in place in order to gain on confidence and trust from the clients. Besides that protocol, also venues obtaining health and safety certificates from local government. And then what we see from the PCO standpoint, to accommodate clients' need in the situation, venue has become more creative as well, very innovative in designing the meeting space. You know how we have to do the social distancing. So we do the social distancing in a meeting environment. They offer outdoor meeting space with its facilities such as private pots, which is something very innovative, contactless food ordering, and other creative solutions. So at the end of the day, venues also equip themselves to host online and hybrid meetings. And with upgrades of internet structure, video conferencing system, green studio, etc., also providing IT teams now. They're very digital capable, and also they provide audio-video programming support. And hence, I see how the PCOs and the venues, we all work together to offer one-stop solutions to provide either hybrid events, online and offline events. So that's my take. Thank you.
Okay, that's great. Thank you so much. Pak Andre, can you tell me what are venues in Indonesia doing to remain relevant and competitive going forward?
Okay, start from the basic. I think because of the pandemic is still going on, and of course we have to consider about the protocols. Okay, with the government, with the Ministry of Tourism and Economic Creative, that we just introduced the I Do Care, means that the symbol of support of Indonesia, strong effort in implementing the cleanliness, health, safety, and environment protocols across the tourism industry for as a mandatory protocols. And this is also to ensure the travelers that I do care for your safety, health, and hygiene and conference. That's why we're doing this, because since we have to think about that, we still want to grab the international market. That we, for the preparing of the protocol, we also referring to the some major international associations, for example, like ICCA, UFI, AIPC, and also we benchmarking with some governments, yeah, like in Asia government, we have a similar business with us. And after we now start doing the certifications, now start from the standalone. What Ibu Rati mentioned many times about the venue. With the COVID things, now the role play is the clients, and now is in the venue. It's not in the organizer, because the venue have to ensure that their place is safe from COVID, or let's say COVID free. So this is why now we push to do the certification in the standalone venue, and now they already start for around Indonesia, and hopefully maybe by end of this month, this all already is certified. And now we can put all the stickers in all the venue with the I do care. So this all the room is certificate for the COVID free. Then of course we applied about the distancing. That's why now is the rules, the venue. Okay, let's say the clients come. I want this so much meeting, but since we are the one now who handle all the COVID procedure in the venue, so we are the one who decide, because we are the one who sign is like agreement with the, let's say now with the local government and the head government about that we will obey all the instruction of the COVID. Let's say the client asking for 100, no, based on the government said 50. So that's why now the decision is on the venue. So this is a tough thing for the venue to apply a new, say, distancing capacity. Then after all these protocols, of course, now we try to conduct a new business. We're doing a hybrid, and we make streaming online studios just to accommodate the client's need in this time. Yeah, that's all from me.
Okay, Pak Andre, can you tell me a bit more about the certification? Who endorses it? Surely there will be a governing body that checks and makes sure that the standards are all achieved before they get the sticker, right? So how does that process work?
Yeah, the process, of course, is conducted by the Ministry of Tourism. Okay. They work with one company who doing the assessments, and the assessor we took from the industries. For example, we choose some people from the venues, from the organizer, and from the vendors. And they have to take 3 days training. Then once they are qualified, then they will doing soon the certification. So all is still conduct under Ministry of Tourism.
Okay, good. Can I also ask you about venues that have been able to upgrade their facilities to support hybrid events? Can you give me some examples of venues that have been really good in this change?
Yeah, like what we know that we're doing, like the studio, right? Actually, I cannot say this. We are a little bit late compared to other countries. When I look the Sydney, they already start. Singapore already start. Because we have to see also the demand. Because from the beginning, also we have we have demand, but it's very small. But
Right.
getting after September, October, now the demand of the online meeting and hybrid meeting is quite high. But for some city, for example, like Jakarta, now they still now actually they already opened that they give a permit for us to doing the meeting, the hybrid meeting instead of the online. And some of the vendors now they also try to provide all the new things, the brand new equipment which is can support for the online meeting. And for example, my venue, I think we just last week we just introduced our new studio facilities.
Okay, cool. Ibu Rati, you spoke earlier about venues who are able to pivot and become more advanced in terms of technology. But how about the human side of things? Are there talents available to facilitate the events of the future in Indonesia?
Well, when we talking about talents, we go back when we first faced this pandemic back in March. We have a choice. Do we want to sit and wait, or we want to do something? Like the human resources in MICE industry, in PCOs, usually what we did in the past, we had this, for example, broadcasting. This is very technological. You contact your supplier, and then they did everything. They even supplies the human talents. But now it's not going to be like that anymore. By March, everybody start finding what is the way forward to do this online events. Then people start doing what you say, just using a application that's available online. For example, we're talking about Zoom. So when talking about example from our organization, Pacto Convex, back in beginning of April, we already started doing training internally for our human resources to do this trial on hybrid events using this platform. For example, we're doing Zoom or other stuff. But in the process, we're also learning how to find it, how to fine tune, how to make a product or services from our own. So by the second semester in this year, in June, we already launched one platform, one service, similar like you guys using right now. We call it Pacto Connect. It provides online as well as hybrid events for our clients. And up to now, we organize numerous hybrid events with participants ranging from 50 to 40,000 online participants. So what we see now, the human resources function now, it's evolving to become a catalyst in the new MICE ecosystem. Before, we never care about digital and technology because we have our vendor, they know everything. But now we are acting as catalyst to mix everything, the creativity, the digital and the technology side. And when you're asked the future for this in Indonesia, I can assure you, I can guarantee you, nationwide now, we have seen a surge number of hybrid events. We're not talking only PCOs, we're talking even organizers, we're talking corporations. They're all conducting events, hybrid events. So that's a proof that we have the infrastructure here, the infrastructure is ready, and the human resources, the PCOs, we are all adapting nicely to the way we conduct business in the COVID era. That's what it is.
That's very good. Thank you so much, Ibu. Now, can we look at how the calendar of events is going to look like for Indonesia in 2021? Perhaps Pak Gus Agung, you can start first. How does your calendar of events look for Bali in 2021?
Yeah, Karen. Next year looks like better compared to this year. Yeah? We have started to receive inquiries for 2020, but yet not 100%. Still half. Yeah. Confirm to the wait and see. Yeah. Still wait and see state of assessment from client side and government, especially government regulation for both countries. I think that's for me. Yeah.
Okay. Were some of the events that are waiting and see, were they also supposed to happen in Bali this year, but they're postponed?
Yeah, almost they are postponed. They still interesting to do in Bali, but they postpone to the next year.
I see, I
Almost
see.
60-70% they are postponed. Still want to
Okay.
have in Bali, but they are postponed
Mm.
to the next year. Yeah.
Okay. I think that shows confidence in Bali, huh? I mean, if 60 to 70% have chosen to postpone instead of to cancel, I think that reflects a confidence in the destination. That's good to know, Pak. How about
Yeah.
Pak Andre? What's your outlook for 2021?
2021 for me is still promising. Yeah, everything is depend on the vaccine. It's not only Indonesia, around the world, right? And I think the situation now is our event is there, the business is there, but because of the COVID, so they stop all the activity. So that doesn't mean the business is dead or no more. Yeah, because compared to some countries like Thailand, they already start the exhibition from June with 20,000 square meters. And the Malaysia, they already start meeting for 250, let's say 500. So this show that our business is still there. It's now it's depend on your government. From my decision with many associations around the world, now the position how we negotiate our government. Yeah, because the government they have their own decision or they have program. They said, oh, because Indonesia position like this, so they still stop, they still block. They're not allowed some event, but the other country they already allowed. So that's why this is our homework to negotiate. But for me, for 2021, it's just copying the event from the 2020 from to 2021. For most of the event is rescheduled. Yeah, let's say could be less than 10% is the cancellation. But the problem is for 2021 and 2022, we can see how tough the schedule. Why the schedule is not domestic with the international. Normally, we're doing the event is we have to see the worldwide calendar, right? Let's say we're doing the medical conference. No, normally we do it in October. Yeah, so because it's canceled, so we move next year to October. But at the same time, October we have another medical conference. Let's say in Asia or maybe in Europe at the same time, or maybe in Indonesia, and this is what happened. So sorry to say for the schedule 2021, yeah, about the event structure, but for me it's still promising. Also, the beginning, because people still waiting about the progress of the vaccines, and let's say we start from January, February, March. Actually, it's also promising for us, but facing the April, I think it's a Ramadan, the Muslim months, yeah.
Right.
Then until the May. So let's say maybe we will start the business from June, yeah, after the Hari Raya, yeah. Then we can start again let's say from 50-60% capacity compared to 2019, yeah. Also the business, and the 2022 maybe we can start 75%.
Right. Okay. You brought up a very important point, Andre. You're saying that the business will start sometime in June onwards until the year end, right?
Yeah.
But because a lot of the events, there's already some events that were scheduled for 2021, so those will stay.
Yeah.
But then this year's events are also postponed to next year, so there's a competition for space now. Is there?
Yeah, that's I mentioned before. That's the problem. That's why I talked the other association. I hope all can understand the situation. It's not because of me or other people, yeah, but it's because of the situation. It's not only domestic. This is also international.
Right.
One of my clients just complained. They have a big conference and exhibition. At that time, they have the same event in Vietnam and they have the same event somewhere. So that's why now this how you can compete each other in this situation. Last year, I make a press conference with the Minister of Tourism that just mentioned to all industry, please be careful about the schedule from 2021 and 2022 because it will be happen. They will like back-to-back event, let's say.
But I don't mean, events that across the region. I mean, within Jakarta alone, for example, you have so many events wanting to secure a space in a venue that you may not be able to tackle all the demand right away.
Yeah, normally that I agreed for the exhibition, at least from one exhibition to other exhibition is 2 months, the gap. But for 2021, no more. Maybe it could be less than 1 month. Yeah,
Okay.
but this is the situation.
Thank you so much. Ibu Rati, what are your views about the calendar for 2021?
What we have seen for 2021, as Pa Andre mentioned, because the uncertainty of the vaccine, I think the numbers of hybrid events will be still there, will be majority hybrid events, even though the offline, there will be minimal. But as you said, we have a problem of securing the venue. And for our clients, we have 2 associations event already in place by 2021. So that's a good thing to boost Indonesia in the international frontier. As well as we see government will have more events, the one that postponed from this year to 2021 as well. So I guess government is really trying hard to push the start of the events to make sure that this industry is going. So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be busy. Maybe it's not full capacity in terms of the numbers, but I think we're getting there. We're going there.
Okay, good. Okay, now let's talk about the road to recovery. The governments of Indonesia and Singapore said in October that they're working towards a reciprocal green lane for essential and business travel soon. If you had your way, what countries would you want Indonesia to have green lanes and travel bubbles to support a strong revival of business travel and events? We can start with Pak Gusago.
Yes, Karen, as the previous tourism portfolio, it's clear for us, we want to head to our top 6 countries like Australia, Singapore, Malaysia, China, and Japan. We are in the best mood of preparation now. So I'm hoping in the near future, we could extend our warm welcome and genuine smile of Balinese people to our guests. I have strong belief that tourists who have visited Bali, they could not come back to Bali as their second home. Yeah? And we are here very, very much.
I'm sure they miss Bali a lot as well. All right, Ibu Rati, what countries do you think should have green lanes and travel bubbles with Indonesia?
I have to agree with Pak Agung. We're talking about Asia Pacific countries because a lot of events this year got postponed, and it's mainly from our Asia Pacific neighbors. So if we can open up our door with, of course, the good protocol, it's going to be very beneficial for Indonesia as well for the neighboring country itself. And I think another reason why it's Asia Pacific country, because in terms of the traveling, it's kind of like short haul. So maybe people feel more comfortable, flying 3-4 hours instead of 8-10 hours to Europe, for example. So yeah, my take is going to be Asia Pacific country if I can choose. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Pak Andre, what's your take on this?
Yeah, if we just focus to the green line and the travel bubble, I think for me, just only 2 countries, Singapore and China. Why I choose Singapore? All the headquarters, let's say, all the big player of the conference, of the exhibition, their office is there. And all the international, let's say, like the manufacturers and also some association international, they took the headquarters in Singapore. That's why, of course, I will focus to the Singapore, yeah, in this situation, because like now we already have the travel bubble, right? Like next week I will fly to Singapore to join the ITB Asia and the Asia Wise Forum. So this is a good chance for me to meet all the players there, so we can work together. Of course, the number two is China. We know China have a big market, even for the incentive, a lot of people. Even one group can go to Bali with 15,000 people for 3 days. Yes, and also from the manufacturer for the exhibition and also the association conference. Yeah. So just stick to these two countries first, yeah, Singapore and China.
Okay, very good. We're at time now for audience Q&A, and I'm already seeing some questions coming in. Let's take a look at this. We have Amaresh, our good friend from India. Amaresh is asking, currently in Jakarta, there's not much options, activity options in evening. Bars are still very limited and expensive. Is Indonesia doing anything to put in more tourist attractions for the after dark period? Would any of you be able to contribute an answer to that? Ibu Rati, would you know whether there's any updates on evening activities for post conferences?
As far as I know, Jakarta is still in what we call PSPV transition. So even though restaurants are open with minimal capacities, public transports are open, but everything is still limited. So if you're talking about nightlife, I don't think it's happening soon. Maybe within weeks, because we have to see it on a weekly basis, how the local government, and then also they concerned with the number of cases daily. So by the time the number of cases start going down, they're gonna open up more with the regulations.
Okay.
But at the moment, it's still, we call it the transition phase for the lockdown, if you want to call it lockdown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a question for Max. He's asking, when borders reopen and flights resume once again from Australia, do you think that media fan meals will be organized to help promote tourism in Indonesia? Maybe Pak Gus Agung, you were able to comment on this? Australia is a big market for.
Sorry, come again.
Okay.
Come again?
The question is, after the borders are reopened between Australia and Bali, do you think there will be media familiarization trips?
Sure. I think we can start with fan trip first, and then influencer, something like that, and travel agency. Yeah, the journalists first coming, the farm trip first, and then the influencers come to the Bali. Of course, we can arrange for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Pak Andre, does your bureau handle media fams also for the country?
I think now we're still on discussion with the Minister of Tourism, but what we are doing now from 2-3 months back, that we are focused for some major event bidding for 2021. Yeah. For example, we got one from Dubai, but I forgot when is the date. When this is in Bali, is around 500 people, and also from some medical conference. Yeah.
Actually, it's a good point. That's another question I have for you, Pak Andre. At this point, when the clients are still planning events for the future, but they can't, come over to Indonesia for site inspection. So how do you replace that function now?
Normally the client have the local partner in here. When we are talking of international market association or corporate or company, they have a local partner here, and we can work with the local partner. Or if not, yeah, we try to give more information. Yeah, for example, like we introduce our I Do Care So we are welcome. You come to our venue. We are COVID-free venue. So it's something like this.
Okay, okay. I have a question here from someone who's not put in the name. They're asked, wait, let me just get the question again. Can there be a comprehensive source that compiles and posts latest information and data about Indonesia? Because this attendee is saying that, you know, it sounds like there's a lot of things that are being done in Indonesia, but not enough publicity. So would any of you like to comment, you know, how this could be improved? Perhaps Pak Andre would like to speak from the Bureau's point of view. How can Indonesia players do more to talk about all the things that they've been able to achieve so far?
From the beginning of the COVID, once people talking about the victim of the suspect, we have to see, let's say, if we want to compare apple to apple, Indonesia, you compare to other country, how much population? Our population is, I think, 217 million. I cannot compare with a small country, let's say, with only 50 million people. And this is what's why from we need more promotion and from information, yeah, to global, to overseas about the situation now, because like now the business is still there, yeah, but of course there is a special note for Jakarta, because Jakarta is different, because since the head government here and the local government here, and it's not easy, both of them sit together, become one, compared to other, let's say Bali and other city. But we still can survive. Now we open all the meetings. Yeah, I also inform. Now we already start the meeting with the 50 capacity, and maybe next week we can start with wedding with the 50% capacity. And now we're still working when they can open the exhibitions. Yeah, because the meeting is already start. Yeah, and now with the 50% capacity, like Bogorati said, in Jakarta, every 2 weeks they will evaluate. Now we are in the transition. I do hope for the next 2 weeks, no more transition, all is open, but of course with the protocols.
And would all this information be available on the Tourism Ministry's website? I mean, if I'm an overseas planner looking at considering Indonesia, is there one website that I can go to get all this information and news updates?
I have to check, because I don't know. It's Ibu Kiki before mentioned. Supposed to be soon they will launch. They call it MICE ID. So this is a portal. So all the MICE stakeholder you can use, take a participate there.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, that portal will be useful then.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Rochelle is asking, is there a chance that Bali will be open for tourists from the Philippines by 2021? Clearly, she misses Bali a lot. Pak Gus Agong, any chance of that happening? Do you know? Tourists from the Philippines by 2021, is it possible for them to visit Bali, do you think? Pak Gus Agong?
Sorry, this time?
Do you think by 2021, Philippine tourists will be able to?
Sure.
Okay.
We love to invite all the tourists from Asia Pacific. Yeah, first. I think that's very important for us.
Okay.
In Bali. Yeah. Sure, we're waiting.
You know, a lot of the attendees are asking when can, you know, they bring that group to Indonesia, asking when borders can reopen. I think it's clear that there's a lot of demand and interest in Indonesia for business events again. I think that is very comforting to know. Unfortunately, I don't think any of our speakers were able to give a precise date as to when the borders can open, because I mean, this process, as you probably would hear from many other speakers as well, it really depends on many factors, like the government's decision, the state of infections also, not only in Indonesia, but across the other destinations in the world. Let's see what other questions we can take. Okay, so Arden has asked, is there a specific number on the capacity allowed per venue? You have been talking about Jakarta that's in transition now. The PAX is 50% of venue capacity, right? Is it the same in other parts of Indonesia?
I think every city they have their own different policy. Yeah. Because, for example, some other city they already start. I think Jakarta they just start 2 3 weeks ago. But I think hopefully will be same. Yeah, will be same because from the Ministry of Tourism they have the protocol, but they don't mention exactly about the size. Yeah, just mention about the protocol in general. But once you're talking about the capacity, it's depend on each local government. Yeah.
I see. Okay. So I suppose for international planners, the best way to get your answers would be to rely on the local PCO or the local PEO for advice, and to contact the state office representing the MICE industry. Okay. I think that's all the questions that we have so far. Okay, so perhaps let's join us in thanking our speakers. Thank you so much, Pak Andre. Thank you so much, Ibu Rati. Thank you so much, Pak Gus Agung, for spending some time with us this afternoon to tackle these questions. Hopefully, our audience have a bit more clarity about what Indonesia has been doing to prepare for a MICE rebound. The journey is not easy, but we can see that the industry players are doing their best here. So let's keep communicating, and then whenever there's a new development, we hope TTG will be the first to share that development with the audience. Yeah. Okay. Thank you everyone for being wonderful audience. Take care.
Okay,
stay safe.
You. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Bye bye.
Stay healthy.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
See you again. Bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.
In Bali.
Bye.